Good evening, everyone. My name is Shreyas Chandak and I am from B3 batch from ENTC branch. So today we will learn about voltage divider circuit and understanding the DC load line and Q point transistor and their analysis. So the DC load line and Q point are crucial concepts in transistor analysis. So we will see the relationship between the current and voltage and see how its performance. So the voltage divider bias method, there are advantages and some limitations. So the voltage divider bias method is simple to implement and offers the better stability. It provides a steady base emitter voltage and increases the gain of the transistor. While the limitations are the mode does not introduce some disadvantages, means the less disadvantages are there, it is more profitable. It can be sensitive to variations in supply voltage and temperature. So by variations in supply voltage and temperature, there can be some effect in the stability of the Q point of the transistor. And afterwards, we will see the DC load line visualizing the transistor operation. So first of all, what is meant by DC load line? The DC load line represents the relationship between the collector current, that is IC, and collector emitter voltage, that is VCE, of the transistor in DC bias conditions. Second one is the interpreting the line. The slope of DC load line determines the input and output of the transistor circuit by the Q point. We can determine it by Q point. And third one is effects of load line shift, that is changes in load line resistance or supply voltage can shift the DC load line. After that, what is meant by Q point? That is Q point means operating point of transistor. So the Q, first of all, we will see definition. The Q point is a operating point of transistor in steady state conditions. It represents the static and proper signal amplifications. Now, what is the importance of the stability in transistor? So, stable Q point is crucial for reliable transistor operation by choosing the appropriate biasing methods and optimizing amplifications. The positioning of Q point and affects the gain linearity, power dissipation of transistor amplifier. Afterwards, we will see the DC analysis of the transistor circuit. So, first one is the transistor parameters. Parameters such as base emitter voltage, that is VB, and beta, that is value. So second is circuit simplification, simplifying the circuit by representing the transistor as current source and determining the values of resistors. After that, we will apply analyzing the current and voltage flow. So applying Kirchhoff's law and Ohm's law to determine the current voltages. We will see various points in circuit, that is considering given transistor parameters. After that, DC load line analysis, that is identification of operating Q point, calculating DC bias values, that is Q point we can calculate, verifying amplifications and adjusting Q point. So by plotting the DC load line characteristic curves, we can identify the Q point of DC load line. Using Q point, we can determine the values of base and collector currents, that is IB and IC, collector and base currents, as well as the voltage drop across various components of the circuit. So by substituting the calculated values into small signals or models, and we can analyze the transistor operation and amplify the characteristics. So there are some potentials, pitfalls, and troubleshooting. While we can see that while analyzing transistor, it's important to be aware of common pitfalls such as we can see insufficient biasing, then resulting distortion of signals, clipping. Excessive biasing lead to excessive power dissipation, that is, the power is more consumed, and reduce amplification efficiency. So sensitive to temperature changes, we can necessitating the consideration of thermal effects. So at last, mastering the DC analysis, we learn about the DC load line, what is the Q point, and voltage divider bias method, why is important in transistor analysis. By mastering these concepts, we can see the transistor performance and achieve the desired characteristics